Well, hey there, welcome parents. Once again, I'm in the studio with Tracy, and today we're sort of finishing up our Parenting 101 series. I hope you've gone through all of that on our website. Maybe you've just found this video on its own, that's fine as well. But we're going to talk today about the stages of flex parenting, kind of wrap this up. You know, we talked about what flex parenting is all about, using these resources to create a conversational culture in your home, to make a habit of it, like Moses encouraged the Israelite parents and grandparents to do, not that they used our tools online. And today we're going to just let's talk about just kind of the big picture plan, right, Tracy? So let's say that a parent is out there and is like, they've got a 7-year-old at home and they say, this is great and I'm committed to this. So what does this look like? What are the stages I should expect in the years ahead as I parent using these tools?
Yeah. So we want you to look at it in terms of a few different stages. And our resources for kids really start at about the age of 5, kindergarten. Now you could use it with your 4-year-old.
Right.
I mean, it kind of depends on their attention span. Like we said, the videos are only a couple minutes long.
Right.
They're watching cartoons on PBS and YouTube already, I'm sure.
Right.
So that first stage is from about 5 to the age of 11 is really your active parenting, mentoring stage, where you as the parents are the primary mentor in your kids' lives, where you're using the topics, you're using our flex method at home with your kids.
So from 5 years old till they're 11, and that's several years of just great, maybe weekly, I know some parents do this daily.
Yeah.
Just covering that content, creating a culture, maybe after dinner.
Yeah.
Where you're talking, hey, it's time for our family talk.
That's right.
You know? It's time for our flex talk. Let's get together and let's talk. You have some fun with it. Maybe you do it on Friday nights or Thursday nights. So if a kid does this, Tracy, tell me, if a kid does this from, let's say, age 5 until age 11, we're talking thousands of conversations that they've had at home.
And they've watched you model this flex method the whole time.
Right.
Right.
And the idea is, the culture in the home is, kids know how to talk about important stuff with parents.
Yes.
And you've covered thousands of topics.
Yes.
Maybe several times.
Right. Yeah.
So then that leads to the second phase.
Right.
The second stage of this whole idea behind flex parenting. What is it?
Yeah, so you want to get to this point then where you find your kid a mentor outside of yourselves.
Right.
So this is, right at the transition of, in our church settings, where kids are going out of the kids program and into youth groups.
That's right.
And so now kids are getting to that age where they're more independent, like wanting to feel more independent anyways, hitting the junior high years. So this is where it would be great to have an older student start to mentor them.
And how? How is that older student mentoring the kid?
Right, the same way that you've been doing it in the home, just using topics from our student page.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea, is you've graduated, not that your kid doesn't love you and want to hear from you, right, parents? But now you want to make sure that your preteen gets some content, gets those same messages from someone just a couple years older that's trustworthy. Maybe you've helped pick this person, right? I think in a church, this is a good place to find a student like this.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Churches that use these resources, that's a great place to, maybe within your church, youth pastors are involved in helping make these connections, helping parents. That's something you can talk about with the leaders at your church. But the idea is to get this other student a little bit older to be sharing the same kinds of values.
Right, because your kids at that age are going to relate to, and maybe you've been saying it to them for years, but now they're more interested in friends' opinions, and now a student that's a couple years older saying the same thing as parents, backing up parents. It just comes at our kids a little different way, and it just helps them to be like, all right, I'm still going to trust in my parents and the advice that they've had all this time, because now I have a cool, 8th grader telling me that, and I'm in 6th grade.
But parents, I would just make sure, pastors, you need to hear this too, just make sure that those student mentors have been trained. And the training is all at PursueGOD.org, but this is training for parents, but make sure that they go through the training so they know what flex mentoring is all about, how to use the tools at PursueGOD.org, and that's really important. Okay, so that's stage 2. That's from about 12 to 14. So 15 years old, now they hit stage 3 in the process.
Where they become a mentor.
That's right.
So again, if your kids have seen you model this in your home, now they're in their youth groups and with kids that have been trained to use our resources in their student groups, then your kid now can be the kid that's mentoring that upcoming kid that's 11, 12 years old.
That's great. Let's just one more question, Tracy. So how would this work then? How are parents involved in this process? We know this because we have kids.
Yes.
We both have kids in stage 3. We have a 15-year-old
right.
son, a 17-year-old daughter, who actually are mentoring younger students every week or every other week. They're using the tools and they're mentoring these
yes.
kids. How do the parents need to be involved in this? Both the parent of the mentor and maybe even the parent of the kid who's being mentored.
Yeah, and so some of this could be related to your church structure, but the way it worked for us is we just reached out to families that had kids in the age group, like for our daughter's group, that were 2 or 3 years younger than she was, and contacted the parents and helped establish that and make sure rides and all of that. We did the same thing for our son. Parents really have to have a buy-in in that regard to help the student mentor to get their kids where they need to go.
Let's say I'm a parent of the 12-year-old getting mentored, and I love the 16-year-old who's doing the mentoring in the student group. This isn't one-on-one, by the way, for students. This is a student group of
couple
3 to 5
kids.
or maybe larger. So I have a topic that I want to make sure my kid needs to cover.
Okay.
Do I, as the parent of the 12-year-old, reach out to the mentor?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. You can communicate with the mentor and just say, hey, here's something. Maybe they haven't talked about this, but this is a topic that would probably be good to cover, and find something in the resources and talk about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think of it this way. A pastor friend once said it like this: the parents are the contractors, but the mentor is the subcontractor, right? Parents, you're still, at all of these stages, it's still your responsibility to play your role. But it's really valuable to get a subcontractor in there when the kids are at that stage 2, and then to encourage your kids to be the subcontractor for another kid and to pass on what they've learned. This is what the empowering concept is all about behind our resources. This allows every kid to truly pursue God from a young age all the way up until they're out of high school, is they've learned how to pursue God full circle. They're now the disciple maker.
And I'll just say, for both of our kids, it has been through the empowerment phase of them becoming mentors that they've really owned their faith at a deeper level. That now that our daughter's ready to go off to college, I have more confidence that she knows who she is and what she believes and why she does what she does, because she's been helping and growing as she's mentored younger girls.
Well, as we said in the previous video, she's not going to be tossed about Ephesians 4 by every wind of teaching and every idea that comes up in college, because she's helped other kids, and so she's internalized those values for herself.
Right.
So parents, I encourage you, again, this is the last in our Parenting 101 series, but we've got plenty of other videos on parenting in particular, but specifically the flex parenting method and using the tools. We encourage you to use them because they've been so helpful for us. We know that they'll be helpful for you, and that's why we've built these tools. Now, there are other resources that you can talk about for parenting, and if you in particular want to talk about parenting your teens, when you're ready for that, make sure to check out our Parenting 201 series on our website. And I also want to just take the moment to say here at the end, parents, if you appreciate the resources that we make available to you, PursueGOD.org, FlexTalk.org, these are all for free online. We want to keep them free, so we really appreciate parents who come on board as donors. If you want to donate to our resources so that we can continue to keep these free and expand them around the country, check it out at PursueGOD.org/donate. Now, use those questions down below. Talk about this with your group or your mentor, and we'll see you in the next video.